So welcome to the practice of Chakra Dharana. Now we've talked about chakras as awareness centers in the text of the book. You've read about those a little bit. So just a gentle reminder that the chakras in this sense, in the traditional sense, remember they were called sthanas or places for attention. So they're meditative centers for developing attention and then used for installing symbols, concepts, elemental feelings into for various different reasons. But at a basic level, those chakras are centers of awareness. Now we've already looked at the three dantians, and in essence, the three dantians as well are centers of awareness. We're feeling the intelligence and the quality of each of those centers and how they relate to each other in communion. If you think about those three centers and divide each one into two, then what you've got a base center and a lower center here. You've got a middle center and a center here. You've got a throat center and a head center, which gives you the essential 6 chakras. And chakra means wheel. It's pronounced, by the way, like chocolate. Chakra, not chakra. Chakra, as in sugar, is a kind of very Western pronunciation, but the word is chakra, as in chocolate. Right? So you've got those centers, and then of course then there's the crown, which originally wasn't considered a chakra, but a loka, a realm. So that's the 7th center within that 7-center system. So what we're doing then is we're taking time to feel into each of those successive centers in Chakra Dharana. Now Dharana literally means to focus in on something. So it's using the sense of self through the medium of a sense field to focus in on the appearance of a separate phenomena or separate object. Of course, it's not separate. There's nothing separate in the universe. So we're using the sense field of feeling. We're coming into our feeling space and feeling into each of those 6 centers successively, landing fully in that and understanding it from the inside out. Right? And when we've got that practice in a really good way where we can successively move from each center and sustain attention in that so we don't get distracted by a story in our head, we don't get distracted by some meaning making or some memories or some external event. We're training ourselves in non-distractibility. We are undistractable. If we choose to focus in on something, unless there's an emergency, we can stay fully focused, fully committed, fully clear. And that's a kind of superpower. Of course, in the yogic tradition, that kind of practice of staying in focus on something like that is called Chakra Dharana. That's a one-pointed focus of mind. And in many ways, a 20-minute capacity to sustain that is considered to be the beginning of a yoga practice. You wouldn't necessarily begin with an up dog and a down dog. You'd begin with focusing your mind because the practice is about focusing your mind. Of course, those movement practices can really help you do that if they're taught well and if they're practiced well, so they can help you do that. So no criticism here, just saying that ultimately we're training our mind with yoga. So that 20-minute undistracted capacity to focus is considered a kind of baseline of practice because we want to take that from 20 minutes to an hour, from an hour to 2 hours, from 2 hours to 10 hours, and so forth, should we choose. All right? Now, let's come back into having a feel into the practice. So we're going to feel these different centers, and very much this practice of Chakra Dharana is an opportunity to feel into those different intelligence centers in a more subtle way. So take your time to get into a comfortable sitting position. Remember to rest your tongue behind your top teeth and relax your jaw. Remember to close your eyes. It really helps to reduce the visual information if we're going to go into the feeling of the body. Relax the upper trapezius muscles and make sure you're stacked well. Take a moment to check into the terrain around you. What's in front of you? What's behind you? What's into either side? What's below you? What's above you? So take your time, feel those 6 directions. Make sure you feel safe. Make sure you're undistractable in this space. And then bring your attention into the seventh direction, which is internally. Feel into breathing, the body breathing. With this practice, we're not going to be manipulating the breath at all. You're just allowing the body to do what it does, to breathe however it wants to, but noticing how that is. So there's a sustained awareness of breathing as you feel into each center. Now, traditionally within this practice, in terms of how I learnt it, the first center to feel into is what's called Anya, up here. Anya, up here in the forehead, in the brow, the center of the head. So take some time just to feel into that area of the body. If it helps, then lift your eyes up a little bit to look into the space just between the eyebrows, and that can help to develop a greater sense of focus into this center, into this sthana, into this chakra. And to start with, we're just going to do a couple of minutes in each center. And then over time, you can build up the capacity to spend 20 minutes focusing in on each of these body centers. Wonderful. And then bring your attention down to the base of the body, the pelvic floor. Land your attention in the center, the middle of the pelvic floor, maybe just a little bit higher into the flesh of the bowl of the pelvis, just the base of those muscles. And notice how it is to rest your attention here. Notice how it feels. Just consistently, continuously sustaining your attention into this part of the body, into this sthana, into this place for awareness. Staying present, staying clear, staying here. Gently bring your attention up to the base of the belly, underneath the navel. And if you're female, this is where your womb and your ovaries will be. Feel into this area of the body. Clearly, appreciatively, compassionately. And then bring your attention up to around about the navel, maybe just a little bit above the navel. Take some time to land here fully. Again, appreciatively, in a good way. It can be actually really difficult for people to do this. One, if people have been physically traumatized, it can be difficult to feel into the body. And we've had a look at the resolution of trauma in Chapter 4. But it can also be difficult because people are so busy in the brain, in their thinking. Often in the digital world, where everything's very fast, very quick, very immediate. And to bring your attention down and feel into the organic processes of the body, it's slower, it's different. It's kind of meaty, it's fleshy, it's a different feeling completely. And that can feel unfamiliar. Sometimes it can feel a bit unnerving. Sometimes people get concerned about new feelings that arise because they're feeling things for the first time. So take your time and be really compassionate to yourself as you feel in. And then gently bring your attention up to the center of the chest. And the more and more fully you bring your attention into the center of the chest and feel how it is to be alive, to be breathing. To feel the breath, the oxygen coming from all the plants, because that's where oxygen comes from. All living things breathing. Plants, fungi, animals, the whales in the ocean, the birds in the sky. Everything breathing right now, this breath that you're breathing. Feel this breath. Feel the center of the body and how it is. Gradually bring your attention up to the throat. Land your attention in the throat, just around the voice box. Maybe a little bit lower. Feel into where it feels comfortable to land your attention here. At each of these centers, we're noticing patterns of tension or tightness, restrictions, constrictions, ease, sweetness, joy, peace, or complexity. Each center has its own quality of information or data or feeling of awareness. And you're studying these like you would something you really care about. Maybe a newborn child. Really studying these centers to find out about who you are in this matrix of existence. And then bring your attention back up to the center of the head. If it feels right, then maybe turn your eyes up a little bit, if that helps. Whole body breathing, continuous attention, sustainable, continuous attention, finding awareness in each of the centers. And then up to the crown of the head. Just touch into the crown of the head for a moment. Feel the space above your skull. And then back to the center of the head. Back to the throat. Back to the center of the chest. Back to just above the navel. Back to the bowl of the belly, the base of the belly. And back to the pelvic floor. Now this base chakra has the name Muladhara, which is like your earth support, the supporting quality, the solidity of earth. Muladhara. We're not going to add in any symbols or sounds or any of the other qualities of chakra practice that can be engaged with in a more long-term, deeper practice. Just feeling into these centers, just getting a sense of the intelligence of the body in each of these awareness centers. So bring your attention up again to the base of the belly. Svadhisthana. Again, you hear that word sthana or sthana. So that means the place where you live. The center of gravity, if you like. But the center of many other aspects of being as well. And then up again to the space just above the navel, or just behind the navel, depending on where it feels for your body, what feels right for you. Manipura, which literally means the city of jewels. What a wonderful name. Curious name, isn't it? And then bring your attention up to the center of the chest. Anahata chakra. And Anahat is an interesting name as well. It means unstruck sound. Because sound, to be created, has to have two things hitting together to create the vibration. And the name unstruck sound is a very interesting name. It's referring to something that is primordial. The primordial vibration. So feel into this center. And then bring your attention up to the throat, Vishuddhi. And the prefix V means special or unique. And Shuddha refers to purity or clarity, like cleaning a mirror. So feel into this space. And then back up into the center of the head. The center of sense making. Anya, which means command. And then up to the crown again. Sahasra. 1,000 petals. And from this viewpoint of Sahasra, see if you can include and find all of the other centers, all at the same time. Anya, Vishuddhi, Anahat, Manipur, Svadhisthana, and Muladhara, all held together through your capacity for sustainable and sustained attention and awareness. And holding your attention now into the heart space, bring your attention into the heart space, Anahat, and just rest it there for a moment. Feel the breath entering and leaving the body. Feel the breath entering and leaving the body. And bring your attention fully and completely to the breath. And just rest into awareness of breathing, this living, breathing being that you are. Hold your attention on the breath for a moment or two. And let go of the attention in the centers. Just relax out of that and into the breath. And softly smile. And let go of attention on the breath. And when you're ready, feel into those 7 directions again, the center, in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right, above and below. And the breath coming in and out, carrying oxygen from all the plants, the world around you. And let go of the practice. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I learned this kind of practice from my teacher decades ago, many, many decades ago. And when I learned the practice, there were no digital devices, there were no large computers or available home computers or screens, digital screens. Phones at that point in time did not exist. So these kind of smartphones and things that we have today were just not present at all. And the interesting thing was then that people had time. There was a lot more time. Time is very condensed nowadays because of the rapidity of digital devices. So one of the things my teacher gave us was focusing in on each one of those centers for a month. So you'd take enough time to feel into each center and just sit with awareness on that center for maybe 20 minutes to an hour a day for a month, and then move on to the next center in the same sequence, starting here, going from the bottom up, back down again. Because that sequencing is really important as well. But that capacity to take time with things and to take time to really learn and understand your body from the inside out is increasingly rare. But it's profound embodiment practice and a profound way of getting to know more and more about who you are from the inside out. I met this old man once. He was about 72 and he ran an organic farm in Middle England. And he was talking to me about the time he spent studying water. Now, he didn't just study water from books, he would go and sit by the river. He would sit by the river for hours at a time and watch the rain, so he would understand how water moved and how water flowed, and feel the water inside himself when he drank and when he urinated. Because he wanted to understand water so well, because for him, when he was looking after his animals on the farm and when he was growing crops on the farm, one of the key aspects of that is understanding water, not from an academic theoretical perspective, but from really, really feeling it and sensing it. And we're kind of doing the same thing with our own body here, getting inside it and feeling it from the inside out. So it is so familiar and so known, there isn't unknown terrain in there. So the practice of Chakra Dharana is quite a profound practice in many ways. So take your time, enjoy it, and allow your body to teach you. Thank you.